Have you ever walked through a forest and noticed that everything went quiet? The birds stopped singing, the deer disappeared, even the squirrels froze. But why? What did they sense? What made them run? You. Just you, walking. And somehow, every animal around you knew, a human is here. Run! Today, we're going to explore one of the most fascinating questions in animal science. Why do animals fear humans? Is it instinct? Is it learned? Is it written in their DNA? Or did we teach them to be afraid over thousands of years of hunting, trapping, and taking over their world? Stick around, because the answer might change how you see yourself and how you see the natural world. Before we talk about why animals fear us, let's understand what fear actually is. Fear is a survival response. It's what happens in the brain and body when something dangerous is nearby. The heart beats faster, muscles get ready to run, eyes go wide, everything sharpens. This system is called the fight-or-flight response, and it exists in almost every animal on Earth, from fish to birds to mammals. When a predator shows up, the brain says, "Danger, act now, don't think, just run or fight." Now here's the key thing. Animals don't need to reason through it. They don't think, is this human dangerous? Their brain sends a fast signal, and the body reacts. That's what makes fear so powerful. It's automatic. It's fast. And for millions of animals, that fear has a very specific target: us. Scientists have a name for something truly remarkable. They call it the landscape of fear. It's the idea that humans don't just affect animals when we're near them. We change how they behave across an entire landscape just by existing. A study published in Science found that many animals, wolves, bears, pumas, deer, were so afraid of human sounds that just hearing a human voice caused them to flee immediately. Not a gunshot, not a trap, just a voice. Researchers played recordings of people talking, and animals ran as if a predator was right there. In fact, in these studies, human voices scared animals more than lions or other predators. Think about that. More than lions. Because to most wild animals, we are the most dangerous thing in their world. And their bodies know it, even before they can see us. Now here's where it gets really interesting. When we say animals fear humans, where does that fear come from? Is it baked into their DNA? Or is it something they learned from experience? Some of it is instinct. Certain animals are born with a natural wariness toward large creatures that move upright. Humans walk on two legs, and in nature, that's unusual. Many predators are four-legged and low to the ground. A tall, two-legged shape standing upright triggers something automatic in the brain of many prey animals. But a big part of animal fear is also learned. Scientists have shown that animals raised in captivity, away from humans, don't fear people at all. Island animals, on islands where humans never lived, often walk right up to visitors with no fear. But once an animal sees another animal get killed or chased by a human, or experiences a trap or a gun itself, the fear is locked in, and they teach it to their offspring. The honest answer? It's both. And the combination of the two is what makes human-animal fear so powerful, so widespread, and so hard to undo. The fear didn't start yesterday. It goes back thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of years. Ancient humans were hunters. We used spears, traps, fire, and teamwork to hunt animals that were much bigger and stronger than us. Lions, mammoths, giant bears. We hunted them all. And animals responded not by fighting back, but by running. Those that fled from humans survived. Those that stood their ground got hunted. Over many generations, the ones who learned to run from humans passed that tendency down to their young. Natural selection did the work. Fear became survival. This is called the evolutionary pressure of human hunting. It means that across thousands of years, our presence as hunters literally changed animal behavior at a genetic level. We didn't just change their world, we changed them. Let's zoom in on what actually happens inside an animal's brain when it detects a human. There's a tiny structure in the brain called the amygdala. It's sometimes called the brain's alarm system. The moment a deer smells human scent or a bird hears a human footstep, the amygdala fires. Instantly, hormones like adrenaline and cortisol flood the body. The heart rate shoots up. Blood flows to the legs. The animal is now ready to run. All of this in less than a second. And here's what's fascinating. The amygdala doesn't need to be sure about the threat. It reacts to the possibility of danger. Better safe than sorry. Better run and survive than stop and check. This is why you can accidentally scare a bird by just looking at it too long, or why a squirrel freezes and then bolts the moment you get too close. It's not being dramatic, it's survival math. And for millions of years, running from humans has been the correct answer. Now, here's something wonderful. Not all animals fear humans. Some animals that evolved in places where humans rarely or never existed have no fear of people at all, and the results are extraordinary. The Galapagos Islands are one of the most famous examples. The birds, lizards, and sea lions there had never been hunted by humans. When Darwin arrived, the animals simply walked up to the scientists. Marine iguanas would climb onto researchers. Boobies would sit next to humans without moving. It was like a world without fear. And it's not just the Galapagos. Animals in national parks that are protected zones, where no hunting happens for generations, begin to lose their fear over time. Wolves in Yellowstone, bears in certain parks. They start approaching humans out of curiosity, because without the negative experience, there's no learned fear. It shows us something important. Fear isn't permanent. It can fade, and that means it can be rebuilt, too. Also, dogs, cats, and livestock have spent thousands of years adapting to our presence through domestication. They have unlearned that primal fear because we provide food and shelter, creating a massive psychological split between wild nature and domestic life. Animals don't just see us and get scared. Most of them detect humans through a whole set of senses, and often, they know we're there long before we know they're watching us. Smell is the #1 warning system for many mammals. Deer, elk, wolves, bears. They can smell a human from over a kilometer away. Human scent is very distinctive. We carry soaps, deodorants, food smells. But even a clean human has a specific scent that animals recognize as human, and they react immediately. Sound is the second major signal. Human footsteps are different. We break twigs, we breathe loudly, we talk, we carry rattling keys or zippers. Birds in particular are incredibly sensitive to unfamiliar sounds. A rustling from a human sounds nothing like wind or a small animal, and birds can tell the difference. And then there's sight. Many animals can detect human silhouettes at great distances. The upright posture, the two-legged walk, it's immediately recognizable. Some animals, like crows, have even been shown to recognize individual human faces. They can remember which humans were kind and which ones were threats, and they pass that information to other crows. It's not just hunters that animals fear. Modern human activity, even peaceful activity, creates stress in wildlife. Hiking trails, roads, drones, cameras, even tourist groups. All of these trigger fear responses in nearby animals. A study on mountain lions in California found that even when humans weren't hunting them, the presence of human activity in their territory caused major changes. The lions avoided their normal routes, hunted less, and moved in more unpredictable patterns, all to avoid humans. This is called the ghost of human fear. Animals changing their behavior to avoid even the possibility of meeting a person. This has huge effects on ecosystems. When predators avoid certain areas because of humans, the prey in those areas multiply too much. Plants get overeaten. Habitats change. Scientists call this the trophic cascade, where one animal's behavior affects an entire food chain. Our presence, even when we think we're being harmless, ripples outward in ways we rarely see. Is there hope? Can animals learn to stop fearing humans? The answer is yes, but it takes time, consistency, and safety. When animals repeatedly experience humans without being harmed, something called habituation happens. They slowly adjust. They lower their guard, not completely, but enough to coexist. This is why animals in protected national parks become more relaxed over generations. It's also why city animals, pigeons, squirrels, raccoons, have lower fear responses than their wild cousins. They've learned, through experience, that most humans in cities don't chase them. But here's the catch. This process is fragile. One bad experience, one person who throws a stone, sets a trap, or poisons, can undo years of trust building. For animals, fear is much easier to learn than to unlearn, and the responsibility for that lies with us. So, why do animals fear humans? Because we hunted them for thousands of years. Because our presence changes their world. Because their brains are wired to respond to us as a threat. Because fear, for them, is survival. But here's what I want you to remember. That fear isn't their flaw. It's ours to understand. The question isn't how do we make animals stop being afraid. It's how do we become the kind of presence in this world that doesn't deserve to be feared. That's a question worth asking. That's a question worth living. If you found this video interesting, share it with someone who loves animals or nature. And subscribe, because we've got more big questions coming. See you in the next one.